And we are recording with Miss Hollie and Renee. And legally and technically, you are not a therapist. That being said, I am going to use you for therapy today. And you were just asking in my online 24, pretty much. I sleep.
You're
I
here
sleep.
all the time.
I sleep
I-
and I meditate. And those are my moments of peace. And then it's just working until I physically can't stand. But because I didn't shut up in our last episode, and I don't think we got to the topic which we were originally going to cover, which is kind of channeling the higher self. And whatever I do know, I've been meditating every day for about 15 years,
Mhm.
and I still have no idea what I'm doing. I'm as lost today as I was the first day in 2008, but I do like it, and it makes me feel better. But that's about the extent of what I know about meditation. What Just to jump right in, I really am going to hand this podcast over to you. What
Oh,
is channeling your higher self, and how do we even begin to do it?
okay. It's so easy. And I promise, no, I swear, by the end of this, you and everyone who watches this will be like, really? It could have been this easy my whole life. Um, what is it? First, I want to say, like, your meditation, you can't really, I don't think you can necessarily do it wrong. So just know that. I kind of like to think of meditation as a time to receive from the divine, and like prayer or setting intention is your time to talk and ask, right? So meditation is really just whatever it's meant to be. As long as there's no, I think the best is like just taking the pressure off, and if it brings you peace, then it's doing its job. So
Mm.
there's that. I'll just say that first. Um, what was your question about the higher
Yeah.
realms? Like, what does that mean? It means connecting to a higher aspect of you. Okay. So I really believe that every single one of us has the divine within. So we're 100% human, but we're also 100% divine. We have that divine connection. Um, and I'm not saying we're God. I'm saying that there's an essence of the divine running through us. And when I say divine, I mean God, universe, like whatever people resonate with the most, I think. But it's understanding that our human cannot do it all. We don't know it all. And a lot of people call it the intuition. And I like that word, but I also think that intuition also makes it feel difficult because it's like, yeah, but how do I know if it's my intuition? And so channeling the higher realms is really just connecting to a higher aspect of who you are, right? So we're in the third dimension, which is Earth, right? There's the lower realms, which we probably won't get into today. And we also have the higher realms, which is where I like to teach about. And that is anything above. And it's just a consciousness. That's all it is. So, meditation, you can go into a sixth dimension or sixth realm through meditation. Does that make sense?
Hmm.
By the way, none of this is like science that I've learned. This is all stuff
Oh,
that I've learned
yeah,
through channeling. I know that there is like quantum physics talks about realms and dimensions and
yeah,
all of that, but I'm speaking from, I always have to say this, it's like Hollie University. I'm speaking from a level where I channel information, and I've done so many readings for people that I've just learned so much from connecting to the higher realm. So I just take that information and share it in a way that's like, use
yeah.
it if you want. Does that make sense?
No, I mean, as again, meditating, doing this podcast, being pre-med in college, it's like on one hand, these are all these I can break down a podcast into, gigabytes and resolution of the camera and audio fidelity and views and subscribers. But and then on the same day, I'll go do meditation where I'm like, yeah, no, it's all kind of this weird magic that I don't quite understand, and you can't put it on a scale, and
You can't.
it just is what it is. You can go for it, you can try. No, it's an odd, intuitive, subjective experience. Yeah, no, I'm with you 1,000%.
Okay. And so the thing is it's easy because you have access to it immediately. And that, to me, your higher self, what I teach, I call it the Hollie Renee method. I definitely didn't make it up, but it's what all my students know it as, is connecting through the thoughts. So the divine is speaking to you through your thoughts. And so is the ego. And so is, if you want to say, some people call it the shadow self, some people call it the devil, whatever
Mhm.
works for you, right? So we have this collective cloud, imagine, okay, collective cloud of thoughts. And they're coming in, and whatever we choose to listen to is our truth. And then that is where we set our intention into, which is then what we attract into our reality, right? You
Yeah.
following?
Mm-hmm.
So let's say you're someone who's prone to victimhood, then your thoughts, you're going to easily attract thoughts of victimhood. Therefore, you're going to see that in your reality, which is going to perpetuate more thoughts of victimhood. Okay. And we
Mm-hmm.
kind of get stuck. Humans get stuck in that phase, whether it's victimhood, lack, fear, doubt, whatever it is, we get stuck over here, working too much. Right. There's always an underlying reason to why we're believing that we need to do these things that maybe are going against what the human vessel really needs, right? And so what I like to say is the divine or your higher self or these higher realm beings, because when I say connecting with the higher realms, we're talking about your higher self, which is like your soul, if you will, the divine itself, angels, some people connect with galactic, people who have passed away. Like it really is that easy to connect with them through your thoughts. And doing this has brought so much closure to people because first of all, it helps you realize like, okay, I don't have to do this on my own. And also it brings another level of connection to people who have passed because it's like you can still have dialogue and communicate with these people. But what happens is people get in their head and they're like, oh, it's not me. I'm just making it up. When in reality, you can believe that if you want, but you can also work with the higher realms to ask for physical signs that it's actually them. So where do you want to start? Because we got a lot to go to here.
Let's go with signs because I think that's something you brought up last time was, we
Oh, I think I
often
did
ask.
that.
Yeah, I think you're like, we often ask for signs, but then we never say what the signs should be. So you're like, God, show me a sign. And then, you're all pouty. You're like, I didn't see a sign. It's like, well, what sign did you ask for? You gotta ask for it, right?
Right. So it's kind of like it's asking for that confirmation because sometimes the human needs it. So it goes back to like realizing that in moments you are acting in your human form. And if you're an awakened being or someone who at least connects with the divine, there's moments where you understand that you're connecting to that higher version of you. So for me, as like a channel and someone who helps people in this area of their life, when I'm speaking, like right now, I would say the aspect of me that's speaking would be my higher self, that
Okay.
divine self. Because before we got on here, I set an intention that like my human's not going to come in here. And of course, the human is the vessel, but the information that I'm grabbing from is from a higher perspective. It's from a higher understanding, right? The
Yeah.
human is the one that's like, oh my gosh, what do we do here? What are we going to do? How's this going to work? It's like that, So I like to actually pray over my human in third person.
Okay.
Like, yeah, where it's like if I'm downward spiraling or if I'm having like a really long day of sessions or whatever, I'll literally put hands on myself and pray over my human
Okay.
to like kind of cultivate this inner peace. I don't know how to explain it,
No,
but
no,
you should
I
try it. It
got you. No,
works. You can do
no,
it.
no, I got you. I mean, it, to anyone that doesn't like meditate or do anything, you and I probably sound nuts and whatever. But no, I'll find that where I'll find myself like stepping outside of myself and being like, hey, like as if like I'm not the human. I'll look at me like I'm someone else and I'll be like, hey, like take care of Tommy. I'm always concerned about, am I on time for the guests? Am I promoting their stuff? Am I, scheduling these things? Am I blah blah blah? And I'm like, make sure that you pay this on time. I don't want to be late for that or blah blah blah. And I'm like, well,
Right.
what about this guy?
Yeah.
The guy that can barely stand. Yeah, no, he's fine. He's a horse. Just whip him. He goes faster. And I'm like, no, you gotta. Tommy looks kind of tired, and
Yeah.
like,
He's
eh,
tired today.
and I'm like, no, don't just give him some water. He's fine. Like, just whatever, kick him. Like, you just pour some coffee on him. He'll be fine. And like, I find myself like kind of stepping out sometimes and being like, "Are you all right, buddy? Like,
Right.
you need me to cancel some? We'll take tomorrow off. Like, let's relax." And it is you do need to do that. And then then the question comes in is, well, what is the thing stepping outside of Tommy? If I'm observing
So,
Tommy, who am I?
right. That to me would be your higher
Got it.
perspective, right? The higher self. The higher self is always looking out for you. And the higher self is also the quietest voice in your head, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Like the
Doesn't
higher
raise
self
its
is,
hand. That has all the answers, but it's
no,
never
it's
gonna raise
just
its
going
hand.
to, it's almost like a whisper. The other parts of you. And this is where, for a long time, I used to say the parts that were like negative or like, you're not doing good enough. You're not worth, time. You're not worth love or rest
Hmm.
or that aspect of you that kind of pushes that workhorse. I used to say, oh, that's just like a shadow version of me. That's just a part of me that's unhealed, which I think that that could be a thing ish. But then what it created for me personally was this interesting dialogue or this interesting relationship with myself where it was like me versus me, my human versus like a negative version. So I was like, I keep beating myself up, but the
Mm-hmm.
voices never go away. No matter how much I try to heal myself, I'll continue to doubt myself.
Yep.
And so that's when I had to shift myself into a perspective of that's not me. That's never been me. So whether you want to believe that it's an entity that is infiltrating thoughts, or we don't have to go down that rabbit hole, it can be more of like it's a cloud of thoughts that we're grabbing onto, claiming to be our own, which in general or in reality actually isn't, right? It's not our higher knowing. And so this goes into now this the thing that I feel is the best, whether you call it spiritual warfare or you call it calling your power back in those moments, is when you call upon the divine within, right? So,
Okay.
like when you're downward spiraling, then you say, okay, divine, help me here, right? If you're worried about upsetting people, maybe they're a people pleaser, you call upon the divine in those moments and say, okay, show me my truth. What is my actual story? Not the story that's over here that maybe I've been told or that I'm believing to be true or that's loud and the only thing that I'm seeing in my reality, but what is my actual truth? And
Mm.
in that moment, you'll hear and feel the energy shift. You can't be in fear and in light at the same time. So when you call upon the divine to speak over you, the light will shine on the dark and it's no longer there. And then you're in your power. And then that is how you kind of move forward, right? Everybody talks about manifestation and moving energy here and there. You're either creating in fear or creating in love. And
Mm.
so when you're in that fear-based energy in whatever way that looks, you're creating in that space. So if you call upon the divine within you, which is that higher perspective, you no longer are looking in human terms, you're looking in a higher state of knowing. And that is the direction that if you can constantly do that all throughout your day, every time that comes in, and come in and say, okay, no, what is my truth? You're calling upon that higher aspect, that higher realm, that higher perspective, higher consciousness to give you the truth of what actually is the case. Because over here, you could go on forever of all
Uh-huh.
the bad things that could happen and how terrible you are and how horrible those people were, how bad your life is. And it's not to say those things aren't true, but how often do we want to live in that space? No. So it goes even deeper into like knowing how to connect to your higher self, knowing how to connect to the divine allows you to be able to master the physical realm as well, right? Because you're immediately pulling yourself out of lack, which then immediately puts you into a frequency of attracting the life that you actually want, your actual truth. So it's
Mm.
not about pretending. It's not about trying to convince yourself. I used to like go in the mirror and be like, you are worthy of love. Okay. It's going to be okay. We're safe having a panic attack. You're safe. Right. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't believe you,
This doesn't
bitch.
feel
Like
real.
I'm dying here. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Right.
No, like, yeah, by having to tell yourself something, it's like implicitly untrue. You're like, I'm relaxed. I'm not having a panic attack. It's like, well, why are you
But you
saying that?
are. Yeah. And
Like,
I think that that's kind of what's taught in like the basics of like spiritual like world, right? I'm kind of in the spiritual, I don't like to say coaching industry because it's kind of a and but I'm like in an industry where I teach about the spiritual things, right? And a lot of people teach about this stuff and they teach like affirmations. Everybody knows
yeah,
about affirmations, right?
yeah.
And affirmations is like, I'm going to convince myself, but that's not, it doesn't work. If you're not believing what you're saying, that doesn't work. And so the way that it works is by calling in divine intervention.
Yeah.
Hey, my human is stressed and doesn't believe what it's trying to tell itself. So show me my truth. And it has to. That's just like anything. It's just like when you say out loud to the universe, oh, I'm worthy. Show me how worthy I am. You will see manifestations of your worthiness in your reality later on that day or whatever. Right. So it's like, there's so much more than this physical world. And we could really, really help ourselves and help other people, help our reaction to ourselves and to life if we could learn to connect with the divine. Right. And this is not just like a psychic thing or a prophet thing or like, you know, even pastors do this. They connect to God and get answers and they preach on. So why can't everyone else do that? You can. And in fact, I think everyone should know how to do this.
The affirmation thing is almost like when you find a song and you love it and it's the best thing ever, and then over the course of days or weeks or whatever, it stops being the best song ever, and
Right.
you go through that like that little phase of like, no, it still is the best song. I'm gonna keep listening to it. And it's like, no, it's not. You don't, when you listen
Bored
to a
now.
song that just gets you going, you don't have to tell yourself this is great. You're just like, this is, did you just dancing and you're like, this is fucking awesome,
You can
versus like,
feel it.
no, it's still the best song. Like, now you wouldn't have to say that if it really was. That's kind of the affirmation thing. I'm I'm worthy of love. I'm not miserable. It's like, well, if you're just like running around like on like a sunny summer day, like on a lake having fun, you don't have to tell yourself it's beautiful. It just is. You just there.
It's just like gratitude. It's like people are like, I need more gratitude in my life. So I'm going to write out all the things I'm grateful for. It's like writing down what you're grateful for does not matter if you're not feeling the feeling of it. And
Yeah.
this is where it goes into like feeling in general
Yeah.
with the higher, it helps you kind of cultivate the feeling that you're trying to find in an external way that you never really can find, right? All these people are trying to find love, but they don't even know what it feels like to actually be loved. Well, ask the divine to show you what it's like to be loved and watch the magic unfold in your reality. It's not about going and manifesting all this money.
Yeah.
Ask the divine how to find the feeling of what it feels
Of
like to have all that kind of money and then feel it. And then of course you're going to attract it eventually. Like it's a game of, well, it's a game. And the cheat code is to learn how to connect to the higher realms to teach you and to show you where to go and what to do.
yeah, it is. Yeah, yeah. I want all this money. It's like I've done that with myself. I'll be like, I just want to. I'm working at this podcast. I'm like, I want all this. It happened a lot like last year, and I remember one day it just dawned on me. I was like, what do you just question, Tommy? What do you do when you get the money?
By
And
yourself.
I was and I was just like, I have no fucking idea. Like, I want the thing,
Still gonna be here.
and then I finally thought about it. I was like, well, what would I do if the podcast started making more money? I was living in Maryland. I was like, I'd move up to New England. I'd be closer to my family. I'd be able to go see my little brother and his wife, and I'd be able to go see my parents instead of, on Christmas. I'd be able to go see them, twice a month instead of once a year. And oh yeah, that feeling. And yeah, oh, that would be. And then that's where I am now. And the podcast has made more money. And this is what I did with it. I'm like, oh, I never actually cared about the ones and zeros. It's like, what is the thing you're after?
Yeah, what
And
is the feeling? And I
yeah,
think that's what people are quote unquote doing wrong, meaning I did this too, right? Where it was like I was constantly asking, okay, universe, what can I do to make XYZ? What can I do to get my business off the ground? But what if we're asking the wrong
yeah,
questions? What if we should be asking the questions of like, and this is what I did a few months ago, and everything changed for me as well, where I started asking, how can I show up and serve? How can I show up and be, you know, be the beacon of light that you desire me to be? How can I show up in my mission? How can I show, you know what I
mm,
mean? I started asking those types of questions, knowing full well that when you're in that space, of course you're going to be provided for. So it's not even like, of course, I'm not saying don't ask for money or don't ask for things that you want from the divine. But also, I think people then go to the divine in this pleaded energy when in reality, it's gratitude for what is, asking questions, and then you kind of command the things that you desire to see in your reality through the feeling that you cultivate by learning with the divine. It's like if you can walk your life with the divine, allowing that to be the push, you can't really mess that up. Yeah, of course, logically things might not make sense, but does anything really make sense?
no,
Like,
nothing does.
look at Amazon. You like get on your phone, you order something, and then it's there the
It
next
just appears
day.
the next day.
Like, what? Nothing
No,
makes sense. So why are
it's
we
black
making
magic.
logical decisions anymore?
Yeah, no, I'll do that with myself. But it doesn't make sense, and I'll be like, I'm this weird like hairless chimp on a rock, and I'm like, we nothing. Will you shut up? Well, I gotta do well. What's the podcast? I gotta talk to Hollie. Oh, she here? No, I'm gonna look at this screen, and then she's gonna appear, and her whole personality and backstory is just gonna be there. Just this interactive avatar. How to get here? I don't know. And it's live, the speed of light. Yeah.
Yeah, and people are watching and they're gonna watch in the
And,
future also.
and,
Like it's so
and it's
bizarre.
someone's watching right now, and this is in the past already. It's like someone's watching a year from now, but yeah, no, like shut up. Like if we're gonna say it's
Wild.
not logical, well, that none of it's logical.
Nothing is logical.
Yeah. So
And that's looking just at the 3D. And in my
yeah,
world, we don't look at the 3D. We look
yeah,
beyond because it's
yeah.
so much more than what's right here. And that's where like people are asking questions like, why is this happening to me? Or why did this person do this? And it's like, well, look beyond that. Like we got to look beyond to find
Yeah.
the depths in which you need to create the life that you truly desire. It's not about like, I don't know. I don't know,
Trying
man.
trying to
It's
no, it's like, yeah, it's like a video game or something. You're doing
That's all it
something,
is, really.
you're playing a video game, and it's like, well, how did that happen? It's like, it's a fucking video. You press a button and a car appears. Like, no, it's not real. It's like, you're supposed to have fun. Well, where did the Lamborghini come? Shut up and just drive around and have fun. Like, just shut up. Well, where'd the sun come? Shut up. It's warm. It's beautiful. Shut up. So
It's
that's
keeping you alive.
exactly. And but also that kind of brings in an element of humility, right? Because if you're like, um this is supposed to happen, and how come it's not happening? And it's like, well, you might be asking the wrong thing. So is it that I wanted more ones and zeros in my bank account, or no? And I finally got to the bottom of it. It was like, oh, I want to see my mom and dad and brother more. Oh.
You
And then
want
all
the
of a sudden
experiences.
it happened in like within like a month. And I had been trying to move to this thing for like 2 years. I'm like, I want more money. I didn't know what I wanted with it. And then once I finally realized, I was like, oh, I just want to feel that love. It happened immediately. And it's like, is it that the divine God universe wasn't providing, or was it that you were asking for the wrong thing? And of course it wasn't providing it. It didn't have it. There was no way in which that was the answer. And so I have to remind myself, when something isn't working, is it that it's frustrating and that it's not working, or are you asking for the wrong thing? And that's very humbly, well, it's supposed to work out through the podcast, and it's maybe not. Maybe
Yeah.
that's not the thing. I want to find this feeling through a podcast. Well, that might not exist in the form of a podcast episode. Maybe it's a whatever. And
Right.
it's remove remove the expectations of what it's supposed to be, and
Yep.
instead focus on the feeling of what it's supposed to be.
And I also think that what you desire, what you're asking for, the divine for, whatever, because, not everybody believes in a higher power. Um, so that's okay. But for the people who do, whatever you're asking for, a lot of times it means you have to become something different
Mm-hmm.
to step into that. So, for example, for me, I said, okay, I want to be fully in my mission. What does that look like? And then for a year, I was being completely stripped of like
All
everything
the
that
old shit.
all the ego stuff, all the need for money, all the need for recognition and acceptance and not liking myself. And like all of that stuff had to be stripped away and seen. And it's very raw, it's very vulnerable, it's very difficult. And then, but then it's brought in with like a really beautiful aspect of like, yeah, but this is who you actually are, And again, in those really difficult moments, a lot of times people just keep compounding with believing all of those things that they're hearing in their mind, like people in depression. It's like they feel like a burden. They feel like nobody wants to talk to them. It's like that's not true. They're believing something or a belief that's being infiltrated, that's then just compounding instead of in that moment saying, no, this is not my truth. Divine, show me the truth. Show me who I actually am. Show me that I am worthy of love. And then it's like this overwhelming feeling that can just shift. And you may have to do it a bunch of times until you start to feel it and really believe it and it becomes second nature, but you can't have both. And so if you can be present in your awareness and call upon the divine in those moments, you've now won, right? And it goes into even like spiritual warfare. Like I truly believe like that is spiritual warfare,
Yeah.
because it's that dark, low vibrational thoughts and the high vibrational coming together. And then your human has to make a free will choice to say, I'm choosing to not listen to that. And I'm choosing to ask for help in a higher perspective, because we have free will. A lot of people are like, I didn't choose to be fired. That's not a good example. I don't know. Like a lot of people are like, I didn't choose certain things in my life. But it's like the more you accept what is, if it's negative, you've now made a free will choice to choose that that's your reality. Of course, yeah, you might be seeing that reality, but I live in like this weird delusion where it's like my reality may look one way. And if I start to be like, oh, this is like not looking the way I wanted, I call in the divine and I immediately see like, no, my reality is showing this. And then I feel that feeling and then you experience it.
Yeah.
It
No,
really is that easy, but I think that people don't realize how easy that part actually is.
yeah, and that's where I'm still struck. It's like, if whenever it's really whatever it is starts to seem like it's not working, meditation always helps me, and then I just shift to like, no, like, no, we're not. It almost is just like waking up from a. That's the only way I can explain it is like if you could consciously wake up from a dream you didn't like. We're just like, there's no logic behind it. You can't explain why it no longer is. You're just like, we're not, we're not doing that anymore. It's just like
Yeah,
turning a radio dial. Well, what do you mean? No, I just don't. It's a scary movie. Well, I'm just gonna take the remote and do that.
turn it.
I just
Right.
don't want it. What do you mean? I just don't want it. The end. How did that happen? I don't know. I don't care. No. And then you're
Right.
it's like and you can't put it into words.
I know. And sometimes it's like it takes time, right? Like you work on it for a long time, but then just one day it's like, okay, it's done.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just done. It's just with the finality of like a light switch. You go, yeah, no, that's we're just finished with that. And all of a sudden,
Right.
like all the power that thing had over you, you're just like, yeah, no, we're just.
Yeah, it doesn't anymore.
It was you're like
And
it was fun. It wasn't, but and
yeah,
now it's over.
thanks for teaching me everything you needed to, and now you gotta
Yeah.
go.
And the demon or the shadow is like, no, yeah, no. It was, I'll
Yeah, of
call
course.
you, but God bless. And it just
And then it goes
happens.
away. It exactly. It has
Yeah.
to. It has to
Yeah, it
because you
has
have
to.
free will. You have the power, but the thing is you don't have the power when you're in that fear. It's kind of
Yeah.
like when you're scared of an entity or something. You're like in fear and you're trying to tell it to go away, right? I remember like one time there was because of what I do, obviously I see it all, right? It's not just the higher realms and there was something there and I was like I could feel the fear before I even got into the room and I was like, oh my god, this is scary, what's going on? So I was like, get out, and it was laughed at me. It was like, what are you you're literally on my level. If you're in fear, you have no power. It's
You're in my fucking yeah,
you're in my reign, bitch.
yeah,
Okay, so
yeah.
I'm like, oh my god, you're right. So you have to like take your power back and the only way you can do that is to either, I mean, for me personally, the only way I have found in the many, many years I've done this is by calling upon the divine.
Hmm. Yeah, it's
Whether
like
that's God, Jesus, your higher self, like whatever feels good for
whatever, yeah.
you. But it's calling upon the light because the dark cannot exist in the light, obviously, right? Like, look at you have a dark room, you shine a
Yeah.
flashlight, it's no longer dark in that area. So,
There's something weird about the dark in that. It's like, well, then why does it? And then like the first, things that always come to me is like, well, free will. It wouldn't be free will if we were just God's marionettes. Like you have to be
right,
able to choose. And then it's like the dark's not all bad. You learn from the dark. That you can't appreciate the light without it. You can't, you have to have resistance to work out and build muscle. It's you got to push against something.
right.
But then it's also like to me, it makes even though none of it's logical, it does make logical sense because what the darkness really is the most certain thing. I can be certain the podcast is going to fail. I mean, just
Mhm.
a numbers game, the number of shows out there, the chance of success, that's certain. You go, well, of course it's going to be fucked. Okay. But that's the darkness is always the most certain thing. It's
Yeah,
the
and it's
most,
the thing that's like gonna try to keep you the most safe.
yeah. Well, there's safety and certainty. Even if
Oh,
the
true.
certainty is just horrible, you get rid of the uncertainty. You go, I do know it's going to be there. It's hell on earth, but you know what? I know it's going to be hell on earth. Versus like, no, it could be better. So there is certainty, and then the weird, paradoxical, contradictory nature of it is like the light can be scary. You mean it could be good? You mean it could all work out? You mean you're like a it's like Stockholm syndrome. You're like an abused like wife. You're like, what do you mean it can be good? Life can be good, and it's like, no, life can be good. It can all work out well. What's the catch? There doesn't have to be a catch. Like,
Right.
well, why not? Well, everything always has a catch. Well, now you're trying to pull logic in. Like, no, that was it. Terrence McKenna. He was like, when you get into like a deep meditative or psychedelic state, is when you enter the realm in which all contradictions flow together. It doesn't
Mm,
have to work. Well, why does the water bottle drop? Because of gravity. Well, what is gravity? I don't know. Shut up. It's just, fuck off. It's just,
same thing. It's like
yeah,
enough. Yeah.
yeah,
Stop
yeah,
overthinking what is.
yeah. It's like, do you go to the movie theater and like watch Superman or Spider Man, and you're like, well, where's the web coming from? It's like, will you shut up and just watch Spider Man? It's just you're robbing it of all of the fun.
Right. And I think that's what happens when we do look at life too, like too much of a grasp.
Yeah.
Because then we're not enjoying ourselves. When we're not enjoying ourselves, again, we are out of our power.
Hmm.
You know, you're not in the present moment if you're not like in peace.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's much easier said than done. But the way that you cultivate that present moment awareness is by like connecting. You know what I mean? And that's what I've really found. It's like being in a connection with the divine every single morning, setting an intention, like heighten my awareness of what is, like pray over your day, pray over yourself. I know some people don't like the word prayer, but it's like you set the intention of what you desire to see in your reality, and then you allow it to unfold in the way that it wants to unfold. But if you're not setting intention, you're waking up like, well, today's going to fucking suck again, then that is what it is. You're setting the tone. So use your free will choice to say, okay, divine, show me how I can have the best day ever. Show me how to cultivate joy. In my moments of weakness, remind me to call upon you, and it will become your norm. It will become, but then the thing is it's like too hard for people. So then they're like, nah, I'd rather just be in suffering. And you just can't help those people.
Well, it's the
Truly, you
it's the
can't. And I'm
certainty of
sorry
it.
if you're that person. I love you so much, but you like that's the thing. That's where self-discipline does come in. That's where self-devotion does come in, where it's like I care about myself enough to say enough is enough. And I think that's what I had to do in my journey, is to like care about myself enough to say enough is enough. I'm not going to keep letting this be my reality. And that's when just everything changed.
There's one thing I like to think, because like, and that's the other side, is like self-discipline and work does have a place. Like
Mm-hmm.
you do have to focus, right? And obviously I'm more prone to that because I'm a workaholic. But I always think of there's some motivational guy, David Goggins. He's like a Navy SEAL. He's fat and then wasn't, and then run whatever. It's all great. And it's very inspirational and work harder. But he has one line that I really do like. And he's like, I have this, he was like 300 pounds and was like a bug exterminator and lost like 200 pounds, became a Navy SEAL, and now runs like ultra marathons. Great story. And he talks about how if he hadn't done that, when he dies, he goes to heaven and God goes, you're 300 pounds, you're an exterminator, which is fine. You're a good guy, good son, but you could have been a Navy SEAL with like an 8-pack and ran marathons. And he's like, and I didn't want to like go to heaven and have that disappointment of like, oh, it could have been awesome. But he goes, I want it to go one step further. I want to get to heaven. I want to have God look at me and go, so you were 300 pounds and you're an exterminator. Then, you became 180 pounds and ran marathons. But that's all I had on for you. And then he looks at you and goes, I didn't fucking expect this. And it's like one step. He's like, I didn't have you down for ultra marathons and writing a best-selling book. He's like, I want God to look at me and be like, what are you?
Yeah,
And
what
like,
happened?
that's kind of where I try to come in. I'm like, I want to go to heaven and be like, no, God's like, no, you did the thing, but like, what the fuck is this?
You went
Like,
far
what is
beyond.
like, I want God to sit down and like God spark a joint and be like, what is your deal, man? like
Let's talk.
yeah, like
You're a
God's like,
different
what
type
do
of
you
human.
can you tell me? And I'm like, wait, you didn't plan this? And he's like, no. What do you mean? You did this? That's not
Yeah.
normal. Like I want that feeling to just
Okay.
push it like
And
over the edge.
okay, so that's where you're like the human.
Workaholicness comes from. Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Well, when you're not working, are you thinking about work?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you do for fun?
I like video games.
Okay.
Love video games.
Okay, that's good. It's a reality escaper.
I like the thing is like when I'm not working and I think of work, it's not a stressful thing that it's on my mind.
Okay.
It's tiring, but it's the most fun ever. That's where
Okay.
my when I was pre-med in college, I was a workaholic and I hated it. I would take a day off on the weekend and the whole day I'd be like, I can't believe I have to get back to studying tomorrow. And I'd just be like, no, no, no. Versus now, I'll hit a burnout and I'll be like, I gotta take a day off. Before my day off is even halfway through, I'm like, oh, who am I talking to tomorrow? And it's not like this heavy, I'm like, oh fuck yeah, I'm gonna talk to this person. Like I get to talk to anybody.
Right.
Like I talked like first today I had on a guy and we talked about like bioweapons in China. And the next guy I talked to was like a doctor talking about, the importance of like a parallel medical system. And then it's like, now I get to talk to you. And it's like, I get to talk to all these people like multiple
Right.
times a day and I'm getting paid. Huh? And
It's
so
it's
when I
really
take,
cool.
so when I take time off, I'm like, I need the physical rest. Like I do, there are times where I'm like, I just need to sleep. But when I hit day 3 or day 4 of like taking time off, I'm like, yeah, alcohol's cool. And I mean, Taco Bell's good, I guess. Do you know how fucking cool it is to get like a huge guest and have an awesome conversation and you're both just vibing and it's like a great experience? So, and this could also just be me justifying it, obviously, right? I am the workaholic human telling you why it's not bad. I'm a workaholic. Or I'm the alcoholic telling you like, no, it's really it's good. I'm fine. Like,
It's for fun.
yeah, no, it's for fun. I
I'm
don't need
enjoying
it. Like,
myself.
I'm not yeah, I'm just why can't you have fun, right? And it's just like, but man, it's in my life I have had experiences where I truly hated the work and I couldn't ever put it down versus
Mm.
now, man, I go a couple hours, like I go a day without it, and I'm like, dude, I can't wait to. It's the most fun I've ever had, and
Well,
it's
that's a good sign.
yeah,
The question is now, when you're resting, do you do rest without guilt?
yes,
Okay. So you can like just chill without.
oh yeah. It was the end of May. One day, I just dawned on me. I was like, I'm exhausted, and I just took 10 days off without like a moment heads up, no guilt. Literally put on like 3 pounds. Like went up to my parents' house, just
Okay,
ate pasta
good.
and slept like 20 hours a day, and after 3 days, I was like, yeah, I don't want to go back to work. And after 6 days, I was like, yeah, nope, nope.
I still don't want to.
I still want brownies. And after like 9 days, I was like, yeah, I might never resume the podcast. And then one day I woke up and was like, oh, I kind of want to talk to this person. And I could feel the gears start to turn again. And to me,
Mm,
like I wanted to come. No one was saying, where's the podcast? They might have been. I wasn't answering emails. I didn't, whatever.
yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe it's just the grass is always greener. I'm complaining about working. Well, I mean, I'm complaining about working while doing a podcast with you. That is the work. And it's like maybe if this is just like human nature of like, yeah, no, everything will always be better because it's not here. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Or have I just completely lost touch with reality?
No, I don't think you've lost touch. I think that it's important to honor your passions. I think it's also important to honor the human. So as long as you have this because what someone says is a workaholic may not be to you, right? Like I'm not going to sit here and say, "Oh, yes, you are." Like if it feels good to you and you feel good, I think that that's great as long as your human is getting what it needs physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, then I say go for it. Like truly if it's fun for you, then that's great.
Hmm.
If what happens is people will get like what I did in my business early last year was very much like I just I didn't everything nothing was a priority except for like making money and doing well
Yeah.
in business. So that was like all I was doing, all I was focusing on, all I was thinking about, even when I was with family, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it
Yeah.
became this nasty, weird ego dynamic that just crashed badly.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if you feel like you're taking care of yourself, then I would say that that is good. The thing that I like to tell people is that when you are resting or when you are away from your business or your passion or mission, whatever you feel this is cultivating here, you're making sure you're doing it without that guilt. Like you're allowing yourself to fully be in your human, fully be in your senses and like honoring where you are in the present.
Gotcha. Yeah. And in like quiet moments, I've tried to like break it down. Like, well, then why am I this way? Like, why? And the best, what I feel is like the most accurate conclusion I could have made is if you like, I don't know, if like a rock was conscious, you like
Uh-huh.
or if you talk to the ocean, right? You're
Right.
like, yeah, I'm this wet shimmering thing, and okay. and there's waves and it's okay. And eventually you'd get to the point where it'd be like, yeah, man, I don't know. I just am. I'm just making waves and I like it. What the best I've come to conclude is like, I like to work. I like to produce things. I like it when it makes people laugh. I like it if I can do like a mental health thing and, maybe guide people to donate to like a mental health charity. But I like working. I just, I like it. And at a certain point, it's like, yeah, like I'm painting this building and I could tell you that I want to finish it or that I want to do the job or get the paycheck. But ultimately, like, yeah, man, I just like rolling the painter. And like, to me, that's like the purest form of existence. Like, yeah, I don't, what do you mean why? I just like it. Like
Yeah.
that's before enlightenment, chop wood and carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood and carry water. Like I can get caught up in it and sure I gotta, focus on like, hey, make sure you're giving yourself some love. But ultimately I've kind of stopped questioning it. I'm like, yeah, I think I just like working. Like my dog, I don't have a dog, but like when I had a dog, I'm like, he just liked barking at shit. There was no like bigger picture. He just
Right.
did.
And yeah, and everybody's life does not have to look exactly the same way,
No,
right?
that
So
and that's
like,
the other thing is what about people that don't like to work? Well, they just don't like to like. That's
right.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, it's like when it comes to working too much, as long as whoever it is, whether it's you or anybody else, is taking that time to make sure that they're good physically, their physical human vessel is good. That's really the key, I think.
Yeah. Like I think I like my dad's the hardest worker I know. And like grew up in poverty, became like super successful businessman, provided for the family, all that good stuff. And like retired like 2 years ago. He and my mom live in a log cabin up in the mountains. But it's you go and like see my dad. He's up at the crack of dawn, like chopping wood, like planting shit, like raking,
Oh,
like cleaning out like rocks, making a path. All he does is work on this camp. And you might look at it and go like, dude, when does it stop? And then you realize like, no, that is the bliss. It's
mm,
just there is no big pick. It just is. It's just
right. And to him, it doesn't have to be work. It could be a meditation in itself. He could
it
be so
is.
embodied where he enjoys connecting with that and seeing that's where I feel like this is where like the beliefs of other people or the system, becomes like this weird thing where it's like we just assume everybody else's shit is what
Yeah.
you project or believe to be true as
Yeah.
yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And and I think that like what you said though is brilliant is like it doesn't have to look like other people's.
No, I don't think anyone, and that's the thing, everybody's trying to fit into this weird thing. It's like for me in my business, I found myself working like a 9 to 5 type of energy and I'm like, what am I doing? Why am I forcing myself into this 9 to 5? I work for myself. I didn't do this so that I could, so now it's like, oh, okay, if I don't want to start till 10, oh, I have 30 minutes in a call, go jump on the trampoline with the kids or what, like it's like but again, we're trying to live in this system that's not always the system that we need. And so again, my advice to people would be ask the divine, what should
Yeah.
I do? In those moments, it's like when you don't know anytime you have a question, all you do, the Holly Renee method. Did I even tell you about it? The thoughts. You just hand to heart and ask the question. And the first answer that comes in, that is your higher self. You will hear multiple things. The higher self will answer before you even finish the question most of the time. But if you're like debating, I think it was Lori Ladd said this years ago. I think it was like 2018 in one of her videos. She does like galactic stuff. And she was talking about how you'll get this message when you like wake up, right? You wake up in the morning and you have this long list of things that you were going to do and your body's really tired. So there'll be a voice in your head that's like, go back to sleep and rest. That is your higher self, right? But then your ego or the shadow self or whatever shadow comes in and is like, you're lazy. You said you were going to get up, so you need to get up and do it. And the higher self is like, it's okay to rest. We can do it a little bit later in the day. No, you have to get up. You said you were going to do this, but and it like beats you up. And you eventually, what do? You usually listen to the loudest voice.
Hmm.
When in reality, you could hand to heart, do I need the rest? Does my body need the rest right now? Yes. Okay, listen. It's like before you eat something, do I really need this? Yes or no? When you make decisions in business, in life, with the people that you're dating, the people that you're connecting with, making plans for future you. Should I go to this party? Yes or no? Am I doing this out of obligation? Yes or no? If the answer is yes, then the answer is no to the person. So it's like you have all the answers within, but we're so used to, because we've been taught to just listen to what everybody else says and not question the man, right? So it's like, why can't you just go within and ask, what is the highest version? What is the highest need? And this is how people can quantum leap into the life that they really want. You could even work with your higher self. I did that and it like really helped me. It's like, okay, does my higher self eat this kind of food? No. Okay, great. I'm not going to eat that.
Hmm.
And it's like this weird bliss that you get after you listen to that higher version of you.
Yeah.
It's like when you beat that and you're like, oh, I did that. It's kind of like when you go to the gym and you don't want to afterwards. You're like, I feel so good. That's
Yeah.
how it feels. Even when you're like, should I drink this Coke right now? No. Okay. And you drink water instead. You're like,
You're like,
man,
fuck
I'm so
yeah.
glad I listened to myself.
Yeah.
And then you build this relationship with you and the divine that never goes away. You no longer need to worry about a loss of people because you're good with yourself. You're good
Yeah.
with where you are. That is never going to go away. That's never going to leave. That's never going to, you know what I mean? And then the more you create that relationship with yourself that feels very divine, you then attract people and situations into your life that also mirror that.
And your higher self has a 100% accuracy track record. There's never
Right.
been a time where I'm like, you fucked me. There's never been a time where I'm like, that was the wrong decision. And at first it might hurt. You're like, well, I didn't go to this party. Now this person's mad at me. But then a week, a month, a year, and then years later, you're like, I don't even talk to that person anymore. You're like, oh, well, your higher self
Literally.
knew that. And I've never, you never regret it. You never like, dude, you really did me dirty back there. Like, I've never regretted going to the gym. I've never regretted, like me, maybe we shouldn't get shit faced tonight. Maybe should have some water and go to bed. Whatever that gut feeling is when you pay attention to it, hey, you're never once afterwards like, oh, man, you really fucking screwed me back there. It's just, and what it does is what you said is that, well, it builds a relationship of
Yeah.
confidence. And then when the higher self tells you to do something and it maybe doesn't logically make sense right away, you're like, well, it's been right 9,414 out of 9,414 times. I'm going to go out on a limb and say it's probably right again. And it might be a difficult, scary thing. And then whatever it is, maybe it's an argument or a whatever. And then that trust builds more and more. And then it gives the other voices, the other feelings less power. You're less
Exactly.
uncertain. You're
And you've
like,
now taken your power back from that. And
yeah,
now you're in your full power, which there's nothing that can stop that
no,
version of you.
no, it just, and it starts to become this just like bliss it's very hard to explain, where it does come down to just like you look at something, you go, yeah, we're not doing that. It's like, what do you mean? It's now we're just not doing that
It's
anymore.
a non-negotiable. Yeah.
What do you mean? Well, life is suffering. No, I don't think so. But Buddha, fuck Buddha. I don't, whatever. It's just like an all the contradictions flow together. The logic doesn't add up mathematically. You can't put it on a scale. And it like that is godliness. It's
Right.
like,
And you could never know. You can never know what.
no. And that's the mystery of it though. Is that's the beauty of it, is like it's constantly a surprise. It's constantly, if you knew how everything was going to pan out, what a boring life,
Right.
right?
I know. Exactly. That's like when people come to me for like a reading and they'll be like, what's going to happen here? I'm like, I know. I can't tell you.
And
I
why
I
would you
don't
want
even
to
know.
know?
And yeah, like you have to experience things. Like that's like with my readings it's different because I mean I've predicted a lot of things, but it's more about like what do you need to know to get to the place that you're at, like what is it that's holding you back right now? What are the patterns? What are the thoughts? What are the things that the things in the physical, but what's the deeper meaning of that, right? And then giving that advice from that viewpoint of how to get yourself out of that, because yeah, we never can know. And it also can change. Again, it's free will. Someone could come to me and they're like going crazy with their business, working 24/7 and be like, am I going to be a millionaire? Well, in this energy, yeah, totally. But tomorrow you could choose to sit on the couch and never do it again. And that's it.
Yeah. Yeah. If I'd gone back to 2013 and been like, I want to find happiness or fulfillment, and then you had showed me a crystal ball of today, I would have been mortified because I would have been like, where's the white coat? I was supposed to be a doctor. And it's like, well, which did you want? You said you wanted happiness and fulfillment. Yeah. Well, no, that's not it. And then the human,
Right.
well, I'm supposed to be a doctor. Which do you want? I I want to have abs. Okay. Where's the cheeseburger? Well, you can't have. Which one do you? What do you want? And it's, I want to be happy. Okay. How come I'm not Dr. Carrigan? You said you wanted to be happy. Yeah. Yeah. And you're like, oh, and that's terrifying. But
Right.
kind of listening to the higher self, it's been, roughly 10 years since I got into medical school and decided not to go. And that one took a couple years for it to start to look like the right decision. For a while, I was like, I don't think this was the right thing, man. Like,
No.
but now I look back and I'm like, oh, it took 10 years, but it was more right than anything. So now when I feel the higher self, it's just like it's like a blank check. It's someone that pays you back every time. They're never late on rent. And they're like, yeah, I need 3 months. You're like, yeah, dude, you're good. Your credit's perfect. And that's the way it is. The higher self's credit is perfect.
Perfect.
It's like, I need to buy a yacht. You're like, I can't afford it, but I trust you. Like, here's the card.
Literally.
And you're just like, and then it turns around and turns the yacht into a charter business. And you're like, yeah, I know. I knew you were good. Right. That's what it is. The higher, it is salt. And like, that is God. It's the life jacket. It's the life raft. It's the 911. You could just, it's always, go to the hospital. The ER's never closed. It's never going to turn you down. It's just, and it is there. And if it seems too easy, that's the darkness seeping in and telling you that life isn't supposed to be easy. It's
Yes, exactly. That's exactly it. And that's where you, and again, it's a practice. Just like
yeah.
meditation is a practice. People will be like, I can't meditate. I can't stop thinking. It's like, okay, well, you have to practice it. Just like how if you want to be in a band, a famous band, you don't just like pick up the drums and then expect it. You
I'm
have
the
to
Red Hot
practice.
Chili Peppers now. No, you're not.
And it takes time and it takes dedication. And again, so many people will know this and still not do it because they're so used to. Have you read the book Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill?
No.
Oh my God, you have to read it. Everyone has to read it. So good. But he interviews the devil, basically. He wrote it in 1938, I think, could be 36, but it just got published like 2011, maybe. But they didn't put it out because they were afraid at the times, like what would like the controversy of it. It's really interesting. And literally the devil talks to him, has to, because he has power, because he's a free thinker. He can think for himself. So the devil has to listen to him. So he basically makes him tell him everything. And the devil in the book talks about rhythmic pattern and how people just get stuck and then they just cannot get out. And unfortunately, we see that so much in humans, is it's like just so used to that. And that's where I feel like it's a spiritual warfare. And half the time, the devil doesn't even have to do anything because you've gotten yourself into your own shit, that now it's like the devil doesn't even bother you. It's like you are doing it to yourself. So it's this interesting dynamic. And I think that, my business first started out as teaching people how to develop their like psychic gifts, how to channel that type of stuff. But really what it is like teaching people how to just learn how to be in connection to their highest self so that they genuinely can live the life they want. Because so many people are asking all of these questions, but the answers are literally right here. No one can tell you what to do in anything. Because even if everyone and their mom tells you advice, it's still not going to feel good enough, right? Like how many times have you went to everyone you knew and asked, like, what do you think I should do? Or is this a good idea? And some people are like, yeah, that's awesome. Somebody could be so excited, throw you an entire party celebrating your decision. And you're still like, I just don't know.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like, it doesn't even matter. And so if you just stop even asking people, I mean, okay, use your discernment, and of course it's good to talk to people about things, but is it, I don't know, you like as someone who does, like for me as a business owner, like I just made a huge change in my business, and there was no one that I went to and was like, do you think this, maybe my husband, like, do you think this is a good idea? Because I knew that anyone I'd ask would be like, no, it's a terrible idea.
Oh.
Right. But there was something within me that just kept saying, do this, do this, do this, do this. And so I did it.
Dude, when I decided not to go to medical school, the school I applied, 15,000 people applied to the school I got into, and 100 got in. When I decided
Wow.
not to go, it had been on my mind for a year. And when I made the decision, I sent an email and basically you couldn't undo it. I said, thank you, but no thank you. And
Right.
they have no time. They're like, all right, you're out. And they just take the next person. And I knew
Right.
that it was final. I did that and then told my parents and then told my girlfriend at the time and then told and everyone was like, what? Even my parents were like the most supportive people were like, you did what?
What do you
And
mean?
but I knew that as like it wasn't some like crazy shit like I gotta jump out of the window and just start flying. It wasn't, use your discernment. It was just like all I'm gonna get are and I know more than anything that this is the right decision. And even now, yeah, 10 years later, I'm like, thank God. Because
Literally, quite
yeah,
literally.
yeah, quite literally, thank you, God. Like, no, yeah,
Thank God
literally,
I
like,
listened.
because yeah,
Because
no,
most people would not. They would do the thing and then they unfortunately would probably live a life where they were miserable and unhappy and either stay in that or way down the line be way in debt. And, like,
and then
unfortunately,
back to the whole not everyone's life needs to look the same is, and the people that are giving you that advice, it might have been coming from the best possible. They might be people who themselves are doctors, and they're like, well, of course you'd want to do this, and well, they're not trying to screw you. And you have to realize like, no, 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 that's not for me, and they're not wrong for going. My friend that did go to medical school, he's not wrong for. It's like, no, that guy's meant to be a doctor. I'm sure he looks at me and is like, dude, I would fucking hate to do a pod. Yeah, talk to people. They're like, what? Like,
right.
and then I look at him and I'm like, oh God, but that's fine because that's what he's meant to do. And this is what I'm meant to do. And yeah, I mean, if you live with friends in college and none of them study all day, every day, yeah, you're going to start to feel crazy. You're like, no one else is doing this. But as you get more confident in whatever your calling is someone might look at me and go, I can't believe you do that many interviews. And I'm like, no, yeah, and nor should you, because this is not for you. And just
Right. It's not your
your thing
mission.
is
It
not
wasn't
for
what
me.
you, right.
Yeah. And it does come back to the higher self has a perfect credit rating. And give it one task and let it prove itself to you, and then give it a second. You don't listen to me and Holly, go try it for yourself.
I mean, I really highly suggest trying it because
No,
it's really
genuinely.
just it's just so easy. Like it's so wild. Like you can hear it. Like you can literally ask, and you could use the same technique to connect with like anything. Literally anything. So be mindful. I always everyone be mindful when you're
Anything.
doing this.
Yeah.
But like, when your intentions are to connect with the highest and best, of course, that's gonna be what you find. But it really is like you can do this with people who have passed away, just like connect in and ask, like, are you with me? Yes or no, right? Like you can ask for guidance in any way and it will come through. It
Yeah.
never will not come through. Maybe you're asking like a very difficult decision or question, I should say, that really takes a lot to kind of come in. Like for me and my clients, like we ask questions about our life that really can be something that's like it takes a little while to kind of understand, right? And so, you might not get the answer right away, but you begin to learn that you ask for the question, and if it's not like an instant gratification question, eventually when it's time it will drop in.
Yeah.
And that awareness will become just who you are.
Yeah. And again, it takes building up trust. So give your higher self again, lend it $5, lend it $10, lend it 100. And then one day when it goes, dude, I need $100,000. Yeah. The first request, you shouldn't go, yeah, you can have it. It hasn't proven itself to you. But after a decade of it just nailing 100%,
Yeah.
you can give it bigger and bigger tasks and it
And
can
I
guide your life more and more.
Right. And I think that if we can look back on our life, we can see that that version of us or the divine really always was there.
Yeah.
Even
Yeah.
when we weren't giving it the credit, even when we weren't asking,
Yeah.
it always has been there. And here's the other thing. It's like anytime you have a decision to make, you're always having two sides of the coin, right? So that is a representation of the divine. Even in your reactions to life, someone cut you off. You have two ways of reacting. You can be pissed off or you cannot. And in that moment, if you're pissed off, there's gonna be an aspect of you that's like, it's not that big of a deal. But then the the God forbid, you say you're wrong, right? And just calm down and let it go. That could never be. So it's like, you have to, again, you're making a free will choice on allowing those thoughts to be who you are. You're allowing someone else to steal your energy because they cut you off or whatever the case is. And it's like, you have to remember that you have a choice in every moment. And also people who do wrong also have a choice in every moment. I don't think that someone who does something bad doesn't have that God aspect in their head saying, don't do this. They're choosing to screw people over. They're choosing to hurt people. They're choosing to make, to lie or to manipulate, right? Like old Hollie, I used to be so like naive, like, no, they would never do that on purpose. They're not doing that on purpose, right? And it's like, yeah, they are,
No,
Hollie.
yeah,
Like
no, they
not
are
everybody
evil.
is
Yeah,
like good.
yeah.
I'm like the worst at that. Thank God my husband like can see people for like really. Yeah, I see the like divinity in everyone. It sounds so
I
stupid, but
still
I
haven't
really
called.
do. I'm
No,
like,
I
no, they're
yeah,
so nice. Like they would never do that. And then I catch them stealing in my house. I'm like, oh my God, I really trusted you. And my husband's like, why would you ever trust them?
no,
But
it's
it's like, but they have in that moment, they have a choice as well. And so really what it comes down to is choices. And before you make that choice, it's what's going to be in service to the highest and best of me and to those that are impacted by this decision. And that's going to be your higher self answer. And
yeah,
and so you can question it, you can say, well, would my higher self do this? Is this for the highest and best for everyone? Yes. Like if you're not like if you ask a question and you get the answer from your higher self, but you're still questioning it, then question the higher self. Like you can
yeah,
do that. There's nothing wrong with that.
yeah,
And it's just an internal dialogue. That's all it is. It's like literally the thoughts in your head. It's
yeah.
hard to explain unless you like do it. You know what I mean?
It's riding a bike. You can't possibly imagine not knowing how to do it once you know how to do it. And when you don't know how to do it, you're like, how the fuck do you do that?
Right. And it's just like a fun little thing. You just sit with yourself, take a couple deep breaths, focus on the breath in the body. So you're in the body. And then you just ask questions and you just get the answers. I swear. I don't know.
No, it's because it sounds too good to be true that like life can be a lot less painful. And
So much. So much.
it's hard to imagine if you've gone through so many years of even you and me, like first world country, but there's still pain. There'll never not
Of
be
course.
pain.
Yeah.
But it's like it doesn't have to be a nightmare. And it's scary because you're familiar with the night. You're familiar with the devil you know. And it's like, no, they can be beautiful. Like, well, you gotta work all that's a given. That life that you're just gonna have to work hard at something you don't like. And no, no,
That's such an
I wake
old
up at noon every
paradigm.
day. Yeah, I wake up at noon every day. I right now, this talk I'm having with Holly is technically my job. No, life can be you
Great.
you don't hate it? Nope. Nope. You don't have a boss? Uh-uh.
Yeah, that's
And
me. Hi. I make
yeah,
the
yeah.
rules.
Let me check with my boss. Yeah, no, I'm not working tomorrow. Says who? No, I just checked. I just checked with the whole board of directors. They're all named Tommy. They all said, no, we're not fucking doing it.
They all said no, you need to
Yeah, I
quit.
just asked all of them. I said, should we get shit faced tonight? They all said, let's do it. And it's just what it is, what it is. I'm sorry, I don't, I'll have to get back. I'll text my boss. But like it is, but it is scary that life can be beautiful, right? It's the same feeling of falling in love. You're like, it's scary, right? It's the whole you're vulnerable. Well, it's
Mhm.
so much more safer to be buttoned up and to put up walls. Yeah, but it's also
Yeah.
very lonely and very sad. Falling in love is it's scary because it's like, wait, life can be beautiful, and it's yeah, no, it can be.
Right. And
But for you,
again, it goes into that fear-based energy of like,
yes,
well, what if something goes wrong? Or what
yeah.
if they hurt you? Or what if that, and then you just in that moment you have to stop yourself and
One one thing that always helps me is those doubts and things. It helps to externalize them as like an actual figure. And the mistake I made
yes.
for a long time was like visualizing it as like a mean, scary like demon. Like, no,
Yeah.
you're giving that too much power. Make it
Right.
like a make it like a pot-bellied, nerdy, like and you just imagine that. And it's just like a nerd like what if the podcast doesn't work out? You just look at it and you're like, I'm gonna fucking give you a swirly. Like, fuck off. Like, just imagine just like like a pot belly, just like overweight, bad breath. You're like, who are you? Like, that's what I try to look at as like,
Oh, I love
and
that.
no, don't you really gonna listen to that guy who's like, I don't think you should ask the girl out. It's like, well, you're a pussy. Like, shut up.
Oh
Like,
my God.
like go be cool. And then
Oh,
when
go
you
be
look at
cool.
like the life that can be good, imagine it as like just the most like helpful, like good version of you. Someone that's like, yeah, man, no, you can succeed. You're like, oh, like my buddy Ivan's a professional bodybuilder. And he looks like the Terminator. And you go, he's never intimidating. You talk to him, you're like, oh, I can never look like you. He'll be like, yes, you can. Like, come with me to the gym. Like, we're working at now. I'm going to teach you. And you're like, oh.
Mm,
And you're like, you put yourself down. And he's like, don't put yourself down. And you're like,
right.
oh. So it's
That's
like,
your higher self.
picture your higher self as fucking Ivan, who's like, come on, we're going to go learn this together.
Yeah,
And then your
we can
lower
do this.
self
Yeah.
as just like this weird, like chubby Steve Urkel character. And just be like, oh, no, I don't. You've got like a mustard stain on you, dude. I'm not. I'm
I'm
gonna
not
go hang
listening. I'm
out
not
with
taking your
Ivan.
advice.
I'm gonna go
Not
hang out
today.
with. He's like, you can't do push-ups. You're like, will you shut up? Like, yeah,
I always like to use the metaphor of like being in a car and letting your higher self drive and you put in the destination right into the
oh yeah,
GPS.
no, yeah, the GPS.
Yeah, and the
No,
higher
I always
self
use
is
that analogy. Yeah,
is driving and like yeah, they may pull over if they need rest and the human's going to be like what the fuck are you doing? Get back
yeah,
in the car. We got to get there. And they're like, "Chill out. We're going to take you there. We just need to get a drink really quick." So
yeah,
it's like it's kind of just remembering that like you really aren't like the human and I think the thing is it's not a shame thing against the human. The human is just like that part of you that's like, oh my God, it's like believing it. You kind of think about your human as like that a scared person that's like vulnerable that like doesn't know how to protect themselves and you kind of become that protector when you embody the higher self where it's like
yeah,
it's okay that you're scared, it's okay that this is happening and also look at the beauty that could unfold here. And it's like
yeah,
the law of assumption. You just assume that that is the case. But a
yeah.
lot of people use the law of assumption to assume the worst. Unfortunately, I think that's just the way the human brain is like
Well,
made. I don't really
it's
know.
back to certainty. It's you're more certain that it's going to be bad, and there is safety and certainty. But
Yeah.
no, we'll wrap it up with that. And guys, if you want to check out Hollie, go into the description. You can I have your link tree thing in there.
Oh,
The
cool.
GPS thing, I've been using that probably I think like 2016 is the first time I actually started to try to tell myself that. And it's
It's
like
so cool.
we'll put in the GPS thing and like at first it can kind of be like right now I'm in Portland, Maine. If I put in the GPS for like a city I've never been to, Chicago, at first it would make sense. It'd be like, get on the highway. You'd be like, naturally. And you're going in that direction. Like you're going in this, you're like, oh, this is easy. But as you get closer to your exact destination, it's going to be like, take this off ramp. You're going to be like, but the city's over there. And you're like, take the off ramp. And then it's like, cut under here, go through here, take this. You're like, but where's it taking me? And then you take a left and a right. And all of a sudden it's like, you have arrived. And you're like, oh, maybe I should have shut the fuck up because the GPS is literally in space and it is the higher self. It's looking down at you like, yeah, no, just go right there. I gotta take a
Yes.
left. I know that you put in a destination. I'm bringing you to the destination, but we gotta turn around. For Christ, I'm telling you where to go. Like, and has your GPS ever been wrong? No. If the GPS is wrong, it's because you put in the wrong destination. That's it. It's never been
That's it.
wrong, right?
That's it. It's exactly it. Love
Yeah.
that. Yes.
Yeah. No, that's the perfect way to go. Hollie, thank you for coming on. I thoroughly enjoy having you on. And obviously I look forward to the next one. I always feel a little bit lighter. And of course now I feel like justified in my workaholic mode. I'm like, yeah, no, Hollie said it's right. I'm allowed to work.
No, no, no,
You're like,
no.
no, 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 that's not what I said. I'm like, we don't need sleep anymore. Hollie said sleep's
Listen,
bad.
listen. I know I was like, because I get notifications from your
Oh
podcast.
God.
And I'm like, oh my God, it's like in the middle of the night. I don't know if it was actually the middle of the night, but I was like, he literally is constantly talking. But I guess if you're talking to people all over the world, you probably have to be flexible with times, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. He says,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
listen, there's no judgment here because you sleep till 12, you go to the gym, you do your
I
thing,
still
you
get
play your
eight,
video
9 hours
games.
of
Like
sleep at night.
you're
Yeah.
just living life differently than how normal people would, right? For me, now the way that I work, like if I work 5 hours in a day, I'm like, oh, it's the longest day.
What is this?
But it's but also like it's more than 5 hours of like active work, and then I'm like responding to clients or
Yeah.
whatever. But it's like we just have to remember that the way we do things doesn't always mean that just ask your higher self next time. Okay.
Yeah.
Just, should I do this podcast next week? Okay. Let's see.
Yeah. No, it is. And yeah, it doesn't need a look. Yeah. People are always asking me, they're like, dude, you're up till like 4 or 5 in the morning. And I'm like, yeah, but I wake up at like noon or it's still, I wake up at 6 a.m. every day. I'm like, yeah, but you go to bed earlier than it's still I still get the same 8 hours. I go to the gym, still go, what are you talking about? And it's
You're
like,
I feel just fine. You just worry about yourself. People will
you,
just project their own shit
yeah,
onto you.
like, well, you're up till 5 a.m. I'm like, yes. And then I'm asleep till what? It's 8 hours. What are you talking about? I don't understand. I don't understand. What? It's, yeah. There is one funny thing. I think you might appreciate this. And it's, entrepreneurs, the only people that will work 80 hours a week so that they don't have to work 40 hours a week.
Literally.
You're like, I'm my own boss. And it's like, bro, you work more than anyone I know. You're like, yeah, but nobody tells me what to do.
Like, yeah, you do though. It's you. You tell
It's
yourself
you.
all the time what to do.
Your hair's sticking out sideways. You're like, I'm in charge. And it's like, yeah, I mean, are you? Are you?
Genuinely, that is so funny. That's so true.
You
It's
work
like,
at
oh my
9 to
God, I
5,
work for
loser.
myself. It's like all I do is work and think about work.
Yeah, I don't have to work a 9 to 5. Yeah, but you work 9 to 9. What are that's not a win. You're like, yes,
Right.
it
And
is.
it's for a purpose though. That's the thing. Like
I wouldn't
I
trade
think
it for
that
the
a
world.
mission, if your mission is your business, you've got the best of both worlds, truly.
It's it's like this, it's like spend money on a good mattress. You spend a third of your life there. Like, yeah, I do work 12, 13 hours a day. But dude, you have to work. Like, I might as well enjoy it, man. Might as well. Sure, it's
And
12
it'll
hours a
pay
day.
off. All this energy going towards something, it'll pay off and you'll be you won't have to do it if you don't want to.
Exactly. It's like, yeah, I really would rather work 12 hours a day and not have a boss be like, Mr. Carrigan, could you please come in here? I would much rather just, I mean,
You
I'm
can't
wearing,
go to the bathroom until
yeah, what are you
for
doing?
30 more
You
minutes.
really got to close that. Could you please close out that? No, man, like I wear slippers are like my business attire. I'm wearing slippers. I will never not do a podcast without slippers.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, no, dude, it is worth it. It is worth it. I mean, like, it's grueling, and as you know, it can be torturing, but at the same time, like, man, it's the best thing ever.
It's so worth it. It really is. But it's not for the faint of hearts, that's for sure. So hats off to you.
Absolutely.
From one to another, hats off.
People watching this are like,
they're like,
I'm gonna go work at Walmart. These two are fucking crazy.
We're
like, it's good to be our own bosses. They're like, I don't know if it is, man. You both got this look in your eye. Like, we're both drinking caffeine. Like, yeah, no, it's fine.
No, this is tea. Okay. This is
I'm drinking
tea.
water. I'm drinking water. So
there's no caffeine.
No.
We work 80 hours a week and we don't have caffeine.
Yeah. I'm like, yeah, no, it is the best though. It really is.
It is.
Dude, I appreciate you coming on here.
Okay,
thank you for your
thanks
time.
for having me.
Of course. Of course. And yeah, I look forward to the next one. Guys, please go in the description. Check her out. Check out her stuff. You can go use her services. And until next time, Hollie, thank you so much. Guys, thank you for watching. Listen to your higher self.